If you're looking for your desired Rolex model, should you go to an authorized dealer or should you go gray dealer or online retailer? If you're interested in this topic and my personal take on it, stay tuned. Welcome to the channel. For those of you who are new, welcome, and for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Today I am wearing my Rolex BLNR 126710, the GMT Master 2, the Batman, the Batgirl, the Bruiser, however you want to call it. And I think it's actually a very appropriate watch to be wearing for this video because in this video I'm going to be talking about hotly sought after Rolex timepieces, where to get them, how to get them, and the differences between purchasing from an authorized dealer versus gray market such as a jeweler or an online retailer such as Joma Shop. Just real briefly, what is an authorized dealer? Well, an authorized dealer is basically a dealer, a jeweler that is sanctioned officially by Rolex, that is licensed to sell Rolex timepieces. The easiest way to figure out if a jeweler is an authorized dealer is to go on the Rolex website, type in your zip code and look at all of the authorized dealers in your vicinity. And if the given jeweler in question appears on the list, they are authorized by Rolex to sell their timepieces. If they're not authorized, typically, gray market dealers, they include jewelers that sell and resell new and pre-owned Rolex timepieces. And then they also include gray market websites such as Joma Shop, and they sell Rolex timepieces, but they're not officially authorized by Rolex to do so. It's really important when you're purchasing your timepiece from a gray market dealer that you're going with a dealer that you can trust, that has great reviews. Oftentimes, a lot of timepieces that you'll purchase from a gray market dealer, particularly online retailers such as Joma Shop, they won't come with the factory warranty. So it won't come with the original manufacturer warranty from Rolex. It'll actually only come with the Joma Shop warranty, which typically, depending on your timepiece, ranges from 2 to 5 years. In the event that something goes wrong with your timepiece, or something breaks or malfunctions, you can send your timepiece back to Joma Shop to be inspected by a technician that works with Joma Shop. It won't go back to the original manufacturer such as Rolex or Omega, or Tag Heuer or Breitling. So that's sort of the quick and dirty differences between an authorized dealer and a gray market dealer. I'm just going to caveat by saying that this is just my personal recommendation, my personal experience. Your mileage will obviously vary. Just take everything that I say with a grain of salt because this really is just my own sort of take and opinion. Before I get into it, also, the reason why we even have to have this topic for discussion is because, as many of you may be aware, Rolex timepieces are extremely hard to come by for whatever reason. There's a lot of theories out there. Is it an intentional shortage on Rolex's part to drive up demand for their timepieces? Is it just because the supply just doesn't meet demand? That's another scenario as well. For whatever reason, there is a worldwide shortage of Rolex timepieces. Nowadays, it's even hard to get a basic Oyster Perpetual or a Rolex Explorer or a Rolex Milgauss. So here's my personal take. I really enjoyed my experience of purchasing my Rolex timepieces through an authorized dealer. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that a couple of the timepieces that are currently in my rotation are actually not from an authorized dealer. They're from trades or from my local jeweler here in Southern California. My Datejust 41 in blue with the fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet. That was my first Rolex. That was the first time I ever spent that sum of money on a timepiece, and that was quite the experience. I really enjoyed that. It wasn't the exact model I was looking for. I was just interested in a Rolex Datejust 41, and it just so happened that they had the blue dial and the fluted Jubilee, they had actually ordered it for a customer who did not end up buying that watch. That was my first time purchasing a Rolex. It was great to purchase it from an authorized dealer. They poured me champagne. I had a great conversation with the salesperson. I actually continued that relationship with the salesperson as well. One of the models that I was looking for at the time was the Rolex Explorer 39. The Mark II, reference 214270. For those of you who say that, purchase history and building a relationship with your AD doesn't matter, in my personal experience, it actually did make a huge impact, because shortly after purchasing my Datejust 41, I want to say about 4 or 5 months in, I got a text from the salesperson that sold me my Datejust 41. And he said, "Hey, I remember your request to get a Rolex Explorer. We actually got one in stock. And are you still interested?" From my end, it definitely, building that relationship, having a little bit of purchase history definitely mattered. And I was very clear on the model that I wanted as well. I wanted the Rolex Explorer Mark II from the very beginning. That was the model that I told the salesperson that I wanted. Even prior to purchasing my Datejust, he knew that that was a model that I was looking for. I came to him very honestly and very openly, and he could tell that I had great intentions, that I was just a humble watch collector and wanted to add a very specific model into my collection, that I wasn't just there to make a quick buck. And I didn't give him like a laundry list of, Daytonas, GMTs, Submariners. I was very reasonable in my request. So I think that definitely helped as well. Now, I wouldn't have some of the watches that I have in my rotation today if it weren't for going through gray market, or if it weren't for me doing some trades as well. It's just really, really difficult, quite frankly, to pick up some of these pieces, such as this BLNR, such as my Submariner in my collection. Sometimes there's no way around it. You just want that timepiece, and you don't want to wait. You don't want to build a relationship. You don't want to build up that transaction history. You don't want to spend money just to get the timepiece that you're looking for. I've read articles and watched videos where people spend upwards of 100 to 200K at their authorized dealers in order to build up enough of a transaction history to pick up a highly sought after piece. There's a little silliness to that, because you're spending a huge sum of money just to pay retail for that timepiece that you're looking for. So at that rate, one could argue that it's better to just bite the bullet, pay a little over retail from a trusted dealer or from a trusted trade. So for those of you who follow my channel, you'll know that I acquired my BLNR through a trade. Biggest draw and the biggest merit of purchasing your Rolex from a great dealer or acquiring it through a trade is that you don't have to wait. It's instantaneous. I've been able to build some great relationships with the jeweler that I was able to acquire the Submariner, and I guess indirectly acquire my BLNR from as well. They've been extremely helpful, great customer service. I'm actually going to do a separate video where I talk about the jeweler that I acquired these fantastic timepieces from. I guess the bottom line is, if you go through a gray market dealer, if you go through a jeweler, a non-AD if you will, just make sure they're trustworthy. Look at the reviews. Look at how they do business. Just make sure everything checks out. You can still get a great deal, and you can still find that timepiece, that quality timepiece, that sought after timepiece that you're looking for. It's really unfortunate that this Rolex shortage is upon us right now. Hopefully someday that'll change. And quite frankly, there is an element of desirability here, right? One could argue that the Sub or the GMT or the Daytonas would not be as sought after if they weren't trading for the prices that they currently are in the open market. But yeah, that's just the current state of affairs. So anyways, guys, I hope you found this video informative and helpful and useful, or at least a little bit insightful, to get a glimpse into my personal experience with purchasing my Rolexes. So I've kind of experienced both equally, and hopefully from this video you can kind of get a sense of the differences between those two experiences, and hopefully it planted some seeds, some ideas for you if you are kind of debating which route to go to purchase your desired timepiece. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. If you guys have any follow-up questions or comments or feedback, feel free to leave them down below. I'm gonna do my shameless plug. If you haven't had the chance to subscribe to my channel, that would be fantastic if you could do that and help me out and support the channel. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments below. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.